Good day and welcome to this edition, the first edition of Saints Sports. My name is Dominic Papa. Certainly, we are excited to be back on board again with the St. Clair College Saints. And it all starts this Saturday, Saints football. Of course, St. Clair officially purchasing formerly the Fratman football squad. It is now the St. Clair College Saints. And their home opener is this Saturday on the August 13th. 7 p.m. kickoff. Love the opponent they have. I think this is going to be a great game to start the year. The Quinte Skyhawks, of course, a very successful debut last year into the OFC. And, they made the playoffs. I'm sure they've got some really good building blocks in place to work with coming into their second year of existence. And we're very pleased and honored to have with us the head coach of the Quinte Skyhawks, Coach Peter Gabriel. Coach Gabriel, thanks for doing this with us, and certainly congratulations on getting this team together and getting the second season going for the Hawks. How exciting is it in your parts there?
Yeah, it's really exciting. We're coming early into this August now, and it's hard to believe that we're days away from our first game, traveling to Windsor, but. Yeah, I think there's been an overall excitement across the board within our organization from our varsity program right up to our U22 CJFL. I think getting out of COVID now, getting some normalcy back in our practices, and with the restrictions lifted, it just feels like it was before. And the guys are excited because being a new program like ours in the last 2 years, some of the guys that we're getting out to our spring camps and to our tryouts have been guys that haven't played football, but they've in the last year or so because of COVID. So some of these guys didn't get their last year of high school, so they're really amped and ramped to get back into it and play. So yeah, overall there's a huge excitement in our camp, huge excitement with our coaches, and the guys are just hungry to get back on the field.
As mentioned, Coach Gabriel, before I get to this question, I just want to let our viewers know we will have Josh Allen, the veteran of the Saints, on the show, and also Coach Mike LaChance will join us from the Saints after we talk to Coach Peter Gabriel. And we always give our visitors of course, the consideration of going first here. So I guess it's trying to be a good host here, Coach.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, for sure.
But it's all good. It's all good. Of course, I thought a very successful campaign last year for the Hawks. First season, you got into the playoffs, and you're taking over first year coach there, but you're taking over a team that I think had a really good campaign and really could take some of it and build into this year. Is that the case?
Yeah, for sure. I thought, we had some milestones to meet in year one, and I think we surpassed what we thought we were going to be, up against, and what we were going to have to, trail through as the season progressed. We had a lot of things coming against us as a first year club, coming through COVID and all the situations with that, not being able to get a really recruiting base going within our regional area because we weren't allowed in schools and we weren't allowed to travel. And being a regional center, a lot of our coaches are coming from different regions, so there was challenges just getting our coaches onto the field without having restrictions. And then like St. Clair's and with Loyalist College, we also had to deal with the college's infrastructure and everything that was involved there with their COVID protocols as well. So all in all, coming away, making the playoffs in our first year, giving the guys experience, getting that first win is always huge in a first year program. And we celebrated that, and it was a historic day for us. So we're just building upon that. We have a lot of new faces this year. We have a lot of returning guys, but I'm excited about the core group that's coming back, and I'm really excited about the guys that we've added to our roster this year.
So, without going into too much detail, Coach, I know you don't want to give away everything, but where do you feel that the team needed some work in the off season, maybe even in the recruiting area, and where do you feel are the strengths coming back for the club?
Yeah, I felt for us this year, there was obviously across the board in our first year of last year, we did have some gaps, and when I mean gaps, it's like we didn't have depth. And that ran into some problems as we got later in the season with injuries and that. And our roster, sometimes we didn't have that depth to bring in the seconds and thirds in because we just didn't have them in all of our in our 12-man D, 12-man O, and special teams. So that was one area of concern that we really wanted to build upon this year was, creating a roster with depth and
Mhm.
talent. We had some great athletes last year on the defensive side of the ball that have
Mhm.
graduated and moved on to different things. One of them being CJ. He's now coaching with us now this year. So overall, I believe that the talent that we've had this year has really added to our program. We have a greater depth at quarterback this year. Last year we had Carter Stevens that carried the load. This year we've got another great quarterback that's come in to work and offset him as well. So overall, I think we're in a great place. Again,
Mhm.
we're still a young team, especially with the cap, the 23-year-olds, where you can have that
Mhm.
older level still because of COVID. We are still a young team. Most of our kids that we're drawing from are, you know, 19, 20, 18 coming out of high school, but we need those kids to build the program. So we're excited about where we are right now. We're anxious to get on the field to see where where we'll end up and how things will run its course this year. But from our coaching staff, that we've gathered some great individuals that have coached and played at all levels in Canada, to the players that we've gotten both in Ontario and both in other
Mhm.
provinces. So we're pretty excited. And again, like any other team that's starting this weekend, you just want to see where you stack amongst other teams. So we know it's going to be a huge challenge. St. Clair's,
Mhm.
it's an intimidating place with a phenomenal facility. But our kids are amped. I'm not amped for the drive, but I'm amped to be on the sidelines, and I know the kids are
Mhm.
too.
Well, we're supposed to have good weather, coach, so the drive
That's
might not be that bad. So,
yeah. The last time
but
I was there, I couldn't even feel my fingers.
well, I could relate because we were doing the broadcast, and I was concerned our cameras were going to start freezing up on us, but we made it through.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but before we get into the games last year, you mentioned the buzz around the team, the players that are coming from different places. Is that because of the success you had last year? Is the traction there what you thought it would be after that first season?
I think so. I think we're still trying to gain traction.
Hmm.
We're really trying to gain the traction from our regional base. Like
Hmm.
we're situated very, really great between we're in Belleville. You've got, Peterborough, Durham, an hour away. You've got Kingston. We've gotten great reception from Kingston this year, which has been
Hmm.
great. We're working on partnering with the Gales as well. Obviously, we have a great relationship and partnership with Loyalist College that
Hmm.
for those student athletes that want to play football, just like St. Clair's does. So we have pieces right now. And again, I say to our staff and I say to our executives, the bigger ship, the smaller the turn, the longer it takes to turn that ship. So for us, it is a day by day. We're building upon, we're just building block by block, piece by piece. But just in our short time coming into our second year, just seeing more and more pieces come together from the players' perspective and coaching. And when a new program, when you're getting calls from kids in
Hmm.
Manitoba and Calgary that are considering coming to Belleville to play football, that's a pretty humbling experience from a guy that's in a small town center,
Hmm.
right? They're thinking about us. So that's been cool to see this year, and we've seen more of that this year than I have in the past. So that's been really great.
Yeah, that's a great sign. And of course, with the Belleville Bulls gone in junior hockey, you know what? Got to go and support the Quinte Skyhawks.
Yeah,
Make that the area's team. That's for sure.
exactly.
Um, let's get into the games, Coach. Obviously, you mentioned traveling down here to play game one. There's no videotape to look at yet,
No.
so both teams are going into this. We'll say blind, but I'm sure you know the personnel well enough and can kind of gauge where you got to be at. What do you hope to take from this first game? Obviously, a win, but aside
Yeah.
from that.
So we've been studying last year's film. That's what we have.
Mhm.
We've been looking at that. I know a few guys have graduated from St. Clair's, but you know, w- the biggest thing for us for week one that we've instilled all the last 2 weeks, especially in this week, as we're getting ready for this weekend.
Mhm.
Guys are going to come in. They're young. They've never played at this stage before. They're going to be nervous. It's just we can control our variables. So we've been preaching the whole week about execution, execution, execution. We can't sometimes control what the other team does, but we can control what we're doing. So if we execute and do what our coaches have taught us, and play the way we can as Skyhawks players, I believe that we can make this game competitive.
Mhm.
Uh, um, And that's what we've been preaching and instilling all week is execution, execution, execution. You know, as you know, in the game of football, games are won and lost by fumbles, by anything that can take place during the game.
Mm.
So we know there's going to be some strong nerves. It's the first game. We're playing an opponent that, even though we played them before, we still don't know much about them. So, both teams are going in a bit blind, but it's going to come down to who can execute, who can that player that's playing against that other player who can execute better. So we've been preaching that all week: defensive, special teams, and offense. That just as Bill Belichick, just do your job. What you're
Mm.
supposed to do on that rep, do your job to the best that you can be.
All right. Great stuff, Coach. Really appreciate you giving us some time here today. I know you're busy with prepping this team, but have a safe journey down to Windsor. Looking forward to a great game, and I'll be able to say hello to you and shake your
All
hand
right.
and wish you the best of luck. And again, appreciate your time here today, okay?
Okay, thanks, Don. Appreciate you. Thanks.
All right. That's Peter Gabriel, the head coach of the Quinte Skyhawks. Of course, he's got his team getting ready for the St. Clair Saints. We're going to check in with the Saints right now. One guy that I'm so excited to watch again. I've enjoyed watching him play for a few years now, actually. He's a fifth-year player, actually, with the Saints. One of the key guys, I'm sure the coaches are relying on for his leadership. Josh Allen, the linebacker, joins us. Josh, you look game ready, buddy.
I'm ready. Ready to
Yeah.
go.
All right. It's a sore topic, Josh. The defeat in the championship game. How much of that is fueling the fire for the Saints?
It hurts. Obviously, you think about it, you're like, it sucks. But we're on a new year. We got a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys ready to go. And we're just taking it game by game. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. Coach Morency preaches it all week, all camp. Just one game at a time, executing each game, like it's the UFC, and that's all we can do week by week.
Like I said, this is your fifth year with the club.
Yeah.
So great to have that veteran leadership. Anything different this year, Josh, than in the previous 5 years? Like you said, Coach LaChance, Coach Morency have been there the whole time. Most of the guys have been. It's been consistent, which I think really makes this a very special team. But anything they're doing differently this year to get ready for all of this?
I think the recruiting is the biggest difference. Everybody came into the season not knowing what it was going to be like, and everybody worked really hard. There's going to be big changes in lineups that I think people are going to be excited to see. A lot of young, talented guys that are hungry to get after it, just like guys like me that have been here for 5 years. They want to get this thing going and chase that championship.
Yeah, I know that's the goal for this team. They don't rebuild, they reload. But with that said, there are some younger guys. As you mentioned, the recruiting was outstanding in the offseason. So you've had a taste of that with the new guys in camp and getting ready for all of this. What have you noticed about the young guys, and have they come to you, being one of the veteran guys, for a little bit of advice and maybe help?
Yeah, so obviously guys are anxious. It's coming from high school or a lower level of football, there's a lot more to the game now. A lot more plays, a bigger playbook, bigger responsibilities per position. So yeah, a lot of guys come, they're nervous, they're anxious, but we tell them take it one night at a time. Especially we just came off a good stretch of camp, so we just tell them take it one night at a time. Study the film. We're privileged now to have actually our practices being filmed, so that allows us after practice to go home, study what we did right, what we did wrong, and where we can improve. So I think that's going to help the young guys a lot.
For yourself, on a personal note, Josh, again, you've brought your game up every year. You've turned out to be one of the stars of this team for sure, and in this league. How do you challenge yourself this year and just bring that much more of a game to each and every outing with the Saints?
It's just a lot of taking the time in the off season. I'm not taking anything for granted. I just keep working and working and working, despite, being young, being old, whatever, having guys underneath me that are ready to go and they want my spot, and that's how we want it to be. But it keeps me working. It keeps those guys working, and it builds a future legacy for the team down the road. So
Yeah, you're a young man still, Josh. You're old in this league, but you're a young man still. So you don't have to count yourself as being old yet. I'm old. I'm old. When you get to this point, you're old. But you still got a lot of game in you. That's for sure. Talk to me quickly. Just on the defensive side, since that's where you do your work.
Yep.
Talk to me about the defensive core this year and your thoughts about what you've seen so far up to this point.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
The first couple weeks of camp, we had some studs, especially in the secondary. We have kids like, I've been playing football, I think this is my 12th season, and these kids are studs. Guys like Shea Winter, Domus is back, Tiosh Holmes, all those guys. They're going to be studs this year, working as a core. It's going to be incredible. And we have a good depth at every position. Last year we were lacking some in one spot, and we picked it up in others. So it's going to be good to be able to cycle through, definitely through games and catch guys some blows and be ready to go.
All right. I'm sure you're ready to go right now, right?
Absolutely. Always.
All right. Good stuff, Josh. You're looking great. I'll look so forward to watching you play again this year, and we'll get to chat during the season, and wish you the best of luck, but we're certainly in good hands with you there in the Saints lineup. That's for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. That's Josh Allen, one of the outstanding leaders of this Saints team that's coming into play this year. The Saints, as I mentioned, will kick off their regular season on Saturday night, August 13th. If we can bring up their schedule, this is the Saints schedule for the year, folks. It's going to be a busy schedule at that, obviously. You'll see they start the season with back-to-back home games, and then they go back to Quinte in the Belleville area to take on the Skyhawks again. And then the real meat and potato here, London back-to-back in September. That is going to be two huge games, obviously. They'll finish at Ottawa and Hamilton, and then finish at home against the Grizzlies of GTA. The guy that's overseeing the operation again, no doubt about it, one of the premier coaches in all of Ontario, maybe in all of Canadian junior football. I'd like to think so. Head coach Mike Lachance is back with the team. Good day to you, Coach Lachance.
Hey, Dom. How you doing?
I'm doing well. You look like you're just ready. Like it looks like but I don't get to see you often without a cap on. So this is a different look for you, Coach. But good to see you still have all your hair and haven't lost it. Haven't lost it over the years. So
a little bit gray, but I still have it.
That's okay. Gray looks good on you, buddy. Talk to me about camp so far, Coach. Well, it's not camp anymore. I mean, I'm sure you're putting the game plan into place, correct?
Yeah, and it's tough. I seen Coach Gabriel's interview, and it's tough when you don't know what you're going up against with that first game of the season. With Coach Gabriel being a first-year coach in our league, schematically, we don't know really what to expect. Watching Quinte's tape from last year, I don't know how good that is for us. So we watched a little bit of it, but really we're concentrating on what we do. And I know he echoed the sentiment. At this time of the year, I think you just do what you do well and really try to minimize mistakes and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. With that said, obviously, you and the rest of the coaching staff evaluate the talent that's there. You've got some good nucleus returning, but a lot of fresh faces this year, Coach.
Yeah, well, 49 new players out of the 80.
Yeah.
So, the recruiting was hot and heavy. We had a lot of guys come out. We were almost at 130 on the tryout. Right now we're at 77 healthy bodies. And like I said, 49 brand new guys. So it's interesting. Not all of them are first-year players, so we're not the youngest team in the league by any stretch, I don't think. A lot of these guys who came in are 22 years old, 21 years old. So you still have some experience there, but they're new to us. And that means they have to learn our ways. They have to learn the Saints way of doing things, and they have to learn our systems offensively, defensively, and on special teams, of course. And that takes a while. So I think the team that you see week 1 is not going to be the team that you see week 8. And again, that's pretty cliche for coaches to say. But when you have more than 50% of your team being first year with you, it's definitely the case.
Yeah. And I think, some of these older guys that have decided to come to St. Clair, and this is again where I know you and Coach Morency and the staff there knew that this could happen, where the new stadium, the way St. Clair operates its sports department, you knew it was going to attract players and maybe bring some players that you didn't think would maybe be in the fold when it was the fratmen playing at the old Windsor Stadium, perhaps. This has really taken off, hasn't it, Coach?
Yeah, it has. And you know what? My work ethic's the same as it was 18 years ago. I still recruit just as hard. Just it's a little easier to be successful. So when I call somebody in Manitoba and talk to their parents about coming to play for St. Clair College, and I show them the stadium, I show them the facilities, I show them the school. We go over the academics. I have an academic advisor call them. Maybe they have a conversation with the vice president who's deeply involved with all the sports teams. The support system that we have there is evident. And when we bring them in on a trip, on a recruiting visit, it usually seals the deal. But we don't bring in too many guys that we don't land. So it's awesome. It really does sell itself at some point, but it just opens up more doors, I think, than it has in the past. It's a little easier to kind of spread our wings.
With that said, you got the 1 year under your belt at the new stadium, Coach, and I'm sure, a stadium's a stadium, but you still have some nuances there that maybe you could take advantage of. Is that indeed the case now that you and the rest of the coaches know this field well, know how the sun sets, how the winds work, things like that? Is that something you key on in putting the team together?
I don't think it really matters with putting the team together. At that point, you're just gathering pieces and talent. You're trying to put talent together, talented guys with a certain level of character that you're looking for. If we assemble the right amount of talent, we can coach them up. So I think that's the biggest thing. The stadium does have its nuances, and we do plan to take advantage of those. Obviously, like you said, the wind of the sun, the crowd noise is pretty evident because it's so close to the field without a track. And it really echoes. So it's a nice place. It's a good home field advantage. It's an awesome facility that we love playing at. We're so proud to be there and practice there. We're very fortunate. And we've been, Dom, where we've been.
Yeah.
So we've been everywhere and anywhere and nowhere all at once. And now we've got a home like we do, and we couldn't be more appreciative of it.
But the one thing that's always remained is the goal of this team, Coach. And I'm guessing no different this year.
Yeah, it's no different really. And Josh said it, and again, coach cliche, but you take it one game at a time. I don't want to say that we overlooked the OFC final last year because that would be doing London just a disservice because they played really well, particularly in the end of the game, not giving up and just keeping their head up and working towards something. So kudos to them, the two-time champ. But at the same time, we got to just really be focused on one game at a time. And Quinte is a new animal. There's 3 new coaches in this league, and you don't know what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. And if you want evidence of that, look no further than the BCFC. The British Columbia Conference started a few weeks ago, and in the defending national champion is 0-3. So you don't see that very often. I'm sure they're struggling right now to get their feet under them. You don't want to be a repeat of that. So I think we're considered a heavyweight in the OFC, and we got to take that responsibility on and really play like that every week. And it starts this Saturday night at 7.
Okay, if we can get going here quick, Coach, I want to get a little insight into the squad this year. Let's first start with your offense. What are you liking there? And how, obviously Michael Beal's gone at the quarterback position. Some changes, I would imagine, going on the offensive side.
Yeah, there's changes, but I'm used to change. And our last 6 starting quarterbacks have been all conference. So we've had success there at the quarterback position. I expect it no matter who it is. We've got 3 guys that are really fighting for the starting spot right now, and they all give us a different element. So you got Dan Mayo, who's returning 4-year player for us and a former All-Star. You got Matthew Quinte, who's a first-year player and a big recruit for us. A real mobile kid that played prep school football in Florida and from Millenniums High School. And then you've got Andrew Brush, who transferred over from the University of Windsor, who's a 6'4", 230-pound guy with a mega arm. So we're going to be in good shape there. No matter who takes it, we expect the best play, and we expect that competition to really drive the guy who ends up being QB1. But I'm really excited about the force unit up front. I really love the offensive force unit with the offensive line. We've got 11 guys right now. We average 6'4". We average over 230 pounds or 330 pounds. We're going to be a big physical group up front when we get our feet under us and we get used to each other. And we've got 8 running backs that we're really comfortable with. So it's not oftentimes that you lose an all-Canadian quarterback, an all-Canadian wide receiver in Cody Holmes, and an all-Canadian center in Kyle Jennings, and an all-Canadian running back in Jacob Savoni. You feel good about the offense. I know that sounds crazy, and sometimes I think I am crazy, but I do feel good about the offense, and I think we could really it might be a different cast of characters doing the job, but I think it's going to get done at a really high level.
All right. Well, let's flip to the other side of the ball, Coach. On the defensive end, we obviously just spoke to Josh Allen, who I think will be a key cog to the success of the defense. But what else do you bring to the table there?
When you return three linebackers like him and Nick Brakovic and Anthony Garib, that's three really experienced linebackers that have done a good job with Coach Morency in the past. You really start yourself off with success with a core of linebackers like that. And then Josh alluded to the secondary. We've got an awesome secondary back, and we added some real high-end pieces to that secondary. But Billy Patterson returns as an All-Canadian. He had a Rookie of the Year type of year last year, so we're excited to see his development along with some of the other guys in that secondary. But we've got some real good additions on that D-line and our pass rush. And I think that group might have went from our weakest position last year to our strongest position this year. And I think that's the area that I'm really – on defense, I'm really excited to watch, and I can't wait to not have to be the guy playing against them and calling plays against them like I do in scrimmage, because it gets tough.
It'd be nice to get it to the point where you don't want to see the offense and then you don't want to see the defense. So
it's really at that time in camp. We've had 4 camps now, mini camps. Main camp's been 3 grueling weeks. Kids are raring to go, and they just want to hit somebody that's not wearing a yellow and green helmet. So
specialty teams, what can you tell us about that, Coach? I know the kicking game is always very important. How have you addressed that, and what do you like about your specialty teams?
Well, again, you lose an all conference kicker in Jake Holloway, probably one of the top 3 or 4 athletes in the league, and people say that about kickers, and again, you look crazy, but he was awesome. We're going to miss him, and there's no replacing a guy like that. But we expect our guys to do a good job with that. We've got some young guys compete for some spots there, so we'll be all right in the kicking game. I think our special teams in general, there are cover teams, and our special teams in general are in good shape. I mean, with the depth that we have at linebacker and at running back and in the secondary, that means you got a ton of special teams players. And the guys know, if you're not, I've said it a million times to the guys, if you're a guy who's not starting and you're a linebacker or a defensive back or a wide receiver or a running back, if you're not on special teams, don't expect to dress on road games, because it's just not the way it's going to work. So these guys are chomping at the bit to get on special teams. I think it's going to really make those special teams exciting. Coach Green came into the mix this year. He was an awesome addition to our coaching staff, and he's done an awesome job with the special teams, and I can't wait to see it.
The league on a whole, Coach, we know we've already talked about the Quinte game coming up this Saturday. What have you heard about the league on a whole? You expecting, sounds like Quinte's getting into the same direction that the Saints are, affiliating with a college. Are other teams doing that? We're hearing good things out of Ottawa, which I think is important to have Ottawa be a good established franchise. What are you hearing about the league, and what are you expecting on a whole this year there?
Well, Quinte's an exciting team, I think, because, like you said, they're on the same path that we started on 5 or 6 years ago with St. Clair College, and it's a slow roll. You got to be patient with it, but I think Quinte's going to have that. They're going to have their day in the sun where it turns around for them on that end, on the school end of it, and they have the campus there, and it's a beautiful area. And I think that it's a hotbed there for football, as Coach Gabriel said. So I think they're on the right track. London is London. They're always going to be strong with Western support and with a good recruiting base in that London area. They got a lot of high schools that have high-end football, and they've got a new coach this year, but he's really experienced. So Coach Snyder will do a good job there in London. So you're going to expect the best out of that. Hamilton, as long as Jason Hayes is in Hamilton coaching that group, I think they're going to be really strong. I know they had over 90 guys at camp, so they're going to be a real powerhouse. But like you said, I think Ottawa is probably the key to the equation in the OFC. We need Ottawa to be strong. We need them to have good leadership and good coaching, and hopefully they can get that together this year.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of buzz up there, so that is a good sign, and makes it really exciting to have all the teams really competitive for sure. So hopefully that'll be the case. But at the end, we hope St. Clair is standing at the top of the hill. That's for sure. Coach, always great to talk to you. Really excited about this Saturday, getting this thing going. It's just such a big part of our sports community to keep this tradition going through the Fratman now to the Saints and the OFC. So I'll look forward to talking to you Saturday in person. And until then, appreciate your time here today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
All right. That's Coach Mike LaChance, and that's our first edition of Saints Sports. Again, let me throw up the schedule one more time if you want to take note on it. The Saints schedule this season, again, Saturday night, 7 p.m. kickoff against Quinte. The Hamilton Hurricanes will come in on the following week on the 20th. Then it's on the road for the next couple of games. Then a home game against London. Those 2 games in the middle of the schedule there with London, boy, oh boy, those could have huge implications when it's all said and done. Ottawa, as Coach Lachance just talked about, hoping that they're going to be a good squad, and they've got certainly the base there. They just got to get it together, and who knows what they'll be like come that week 6 for the Saints. Then Hamilton. So it's a tough schedule, actually, folks. Nothing against GTA, but GTA struggled the last few years. The Saints will finish off with that. That might be the easiest game, but who knows? By that time, GTA certainly will have time to grow throughout the campaign, and that could be a key game. So it's going to be a lot of fun either way. And certainly We Digital Productions, very, very, very happy to be the broadcaster for the St. Clair Saints. We've got a tremendous relationship with them and certainly enjoy everything about it. So kickoff is at 7 p.m. We'll probably go on the air at about 6:45 with a little bit of a pregame show for you, and then all the action from the Acumen Stadium on the campus of St. Clair College. That's it. That's just the first edition of the Saints Sports Show. Tune in again next week. We'll have more Saints talk for you. Until then, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great day. Take care, everybody.